dead. Hey guys, Rage Quitting here with a video for you guys. I am playing on my Warrior No Life with my buddy Hot and Spicy on his RDruid, and we just recently hit Duelist together in 2v2 Arena, and I wanted to compile a whole bunch of matches to show you, the good matches that we've had, but nobody really likes to watch montages by themselves, so I figure let's turn it into commentary guides instead, because then that way I can show you guys what I've learned, since people are trying to climb in the arena. If you play Warrior 2, you can learn from these videos, and I've learned a lot since Season 1, starting to play like towards the end of Season 1 and only being able to hit, 1600 rating, but since then, climbing up to 1800 and then to 21, I've learned a whole lot, and I want to share with you guys here. So I hope you guys enjoy the video, and let's get right into it.
Go on the lock. I got you, go.
Mind control. Counter.
I kicked the mind control. We win. Come on. Just die. Yes. Okay, get behind the line. Reset.
Alright, no stupid shit. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll play this game for half an hour if I have to, man.
Fuck
Yes!
yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude! Hey guys, in this matchup we're playing against Arms Warrior Resto Shaman, and these are the talents that I'm taking. You could opt to play Anger Management so that you can have your Warbreaker up sooner, because Warbreaker lines up with Disarm. So every time you Warbreaker, you usually get Disarm. So if you wanted a lower cooldown on Warbreaker so it doesn't line up with the enemy's Disarm, you could play Anger Management here, but I'm gonna play Dreadnought anyway. And then also taking Disarm, Death Sentence, and Sharpened Blade. You could switch Death Sentence out for anything else that you want, maybe like a Rally or War Banner or the Bladestorm talent, but I'm gonna use Death Sentence anyway because I like that extra gap closer when you're trying to secure a kill on execute, so we're gonna take that. And then for the trinket, we're playing the Medallion, the CC breaking trinket, and then Shackles. Alright, I'm gonna zoom ahead here for the start of the match. In the beginning here, I make sure that I don't drop down out of the tunnel too quickly, because there's like this weird line of sight thing that happens here. If I drop down too quick, then my druid isn't able to fully hot me before I get in combat. Alright, so me and the warrior meet up in the middle here. I'm waiting for my druid to get a bash clone opener on the Resto Shaman before I stun. So at the same time, we stun our targets, and then the healer gets fully full clone, and he sits in it. Right after we get the good CC up on the Shaman here, I throw down the Kyrian Spear and preemptively hit my Die by the Sword so that the warrior can't disarm me on my go. This is kind of risky because it's not super necessary, but I decide to play a little bit more aggressive here, so I use Die by the Sword early to avoid getting disarmed, so that I can go ahead and hit a Warbreaker and start doing some big damage to him. So just off of this clean opener that we got, you can see that the Shaman is still sitting in Cyclone, and the warrior's already down to 20k HP, so this is a really good opener for us here. Right after my Die by the Sword fades, I go ahead and Bladestorm, since he's already really low. I kind of guessed that he was going to try and disarm me, so I hit the Bladestorm, and as you can see from the add-on here, we got his disarm as well, but it didn't work because I'm in a Bladestorm. So we hit the Bladestorm, we get the disarm, and now I'm just keeping up the pressure as much as I can. I disarm him on his avatar, which means I won't have it for his Warbreaker, which is what you're really supposed to do, but it's okay since I have another stun coming up right here. I get a fear right here on the Shaman when his you can see on the Gladius frames, you can track diminishing returns on crowd control, and you can see that he doesn't have any DRs, from the previous cyclones that he was sitting in, so I knew I could get a full duration fear, which I get right here. And then right here he's casting Hex. I wasn't sure if it was on me or if it was on my druid, so I used the boxes here to try and line of sight it, just in case it's on me. Here my druid gets a good, you know, more CC on the shaman, so while he's in the roar, and the warrior already hit die by the sword, so this is a good time for me to shackle. So I go ahead and throw up the shackle. Shackle.
Yeah.
Since the shaman was in crowd control, the warrior was forced to take the shackle off himself, so he uses fear on me to interrupt the shackle.
He just draws him with shackle.
He feared me. And they didn't really communicate this because the shaman dispelled anyway, so now my druid is shackling the warrior, and then we get the kill here.
Full shackle.
What he should have done, what the warrior should have done here is stop the follow-up cyclone that was coming onto his shaman. He could have intervened him and tried to kick my druid from casting cyclone, and then also when he got that second shackle on him, like here he could have, yeah, right here he could have intervened, kicked this cyclone, and then also when that second shackle came out onto him, he should have just leapt away to try to outrange it. If there was no other ways to get it off, either with the single target stun or something, but he should have tried to like leap over this way to get out of the range of it. That's what I would have done anyway. So he tries to leap away here, but it's too late. We get the kill, and that's pretty much the game. Hey guys, so this matchup is Resto Druid Windwalker Monk versus Warrior Resto Druid. We're taking the Bladestorm, Sharpened Blade, and Death Sentence PvP talents, and then also taking the HP Trinket because Windwalker Monk damage is kind of scary, especially if you have no cooldowns. So just in case we mess up on our DCDs, we have that extra, you know, trinket to increase our HP for a little bit and survive some big damage. But anyway, getting to this match, the monk is the primary target, and he's playing Necrolord. So in the beginning here, I don't use big cooldowns into his shield, because we just want to wear the shield down first before we go for any kind of setup. So right here, just digging into the shield a little bit. My druid goes in for a bash clone, so then I go ahead and stun Warbreaker and Bladestorm on top of him. I get disarmed out of this Bladestorm, but I don't think it was necessary since my short burst damage goal was already finished. So here, just trading cooldowns again. I'm making sure that I stay in defensive stance here while I have no DPS cooldowns running. And then every time he's in a Fist of Fury, you want to either stun it to stop it or get away from it, because Fist of Fury parries all physical damage melee attacks, so you don't want to be wasting cooldowns into the Fist of Fury. So I go ahead and spear him here, and then I actually hit my die by the sword kind of for no reason. I didn't really need to do that since he didn't pop any offensive cooldowns, so this is kind of a waste by me. So in my head I'm thinking we already lost the match here when I messed this up, but it ended up being fine. So here he's keeping me outside of his Ring of Peace and trying to heal himself up. I go ahead and stun him on the outside of it and continue damage. So here I knew he was going to pop cooldowns since I wasted my die by the sword. This is a good opportunity for him to turn it around on me and pop some cooldowns. So he goes ahead and pops his Images and Zuen, but they decide to go onto my healer instead, maybe because I popped my HP Trinket, so they thought maybe it was a waste to go on me here. So I use Fear here to help peel all of this off of my healer. All the while I'm still making sure I have Ignore Pain up and sitting in defensive stance, because I don't have any offensive cooldowns to pop, and there's no way that we get this kill this early in the match, so staying in defensive stance for now. Alright, my healer goes in for a Roar Cyclone on the enemy druid, so that's really good for us. So I'm trying to keep up some pressure here. Big damage still. I'm trying to stun him. Monk damage is pretty scary, so I wanted to stop it with the Stormbolt, so I stopped his damage here.
Cyclone. Paralysis.
So the two druids here are just constantly fighting for crowd control on each other the whole time. But this early in the match, when I have a whole bunch of hots on me, as you can tell from the buffs up top, it's not really important to try and stop every single cyclone that's, you know, being put on my druid. If the monk doesn't have offensive cooldowns running and I have a lot of hots on me, I'm sitting in defensive stance and always making sure I have ignore pain up, it's not that important to stop every single cyclone. I'm chilling. So Fist of Fury again, stop hitting with physical attacks, so I throw down the spear instead. And then here I Blade Storm inside the Ring of Peace, because you can do that to try and keep up the pressure. So here's his big go again here. Make sure I put up another Ignore Pain during this. And then here I try to kite away from his images so that I can save my Die by the Sword. If I can help it, I'd rather not hit Die by the Sword. Trading damage back and forth here. Another Fist of Fury, stop attacking him until it's over so that you can not waste any of your globals on your rotation. Here I saw that the enemy druid went into stealth. I'll rewind that a little bit. So right here, the druid is sitting by the tower here. Right here, and he goes into stealth and he's trying to move over to get some CC on my healer. So I try to move over and hit this AoE slow. I thought I popped him out before he did anything to Hot and Spicy here, but he ended up getting the stun from stealth. And he's getting put in another Cyclone. So I make sure that I'm in defensive stance, and again throwing up another Ignore Pain. Stun the DPS here, hit a Warbreaker with a spear, but he disarms me, so I just kite away, try to cut away from his Fist of Fury. I can fear this guy, or no, I'm gonna save it. And here's his big damage here. So earlier, it was a good thing that I used my Heroic Leap to get away from his cooldowns instead of using my Die by the Sword, because I really needed it here. So here I get into a full duration leg sweep, which I don't want to sit in, so I hit my trinket and parry. I parry. And since my parry is running, I can switch out of defensive stance and go battle stance to try and trade back with him. Here I finally get a good line and a fear onto the enemy druid. And then Hot and Spicy gets a Cyclone chain combo after that. Touch of Karma, I'm going through it. I wouldn't suggest hitting into Touch of Karma unless they're like really low and you can, you know, kill them through it. We tried to do that here, but then the enemy druid gets a Nature Swiftness off. Here I saw that the enemy druid was re-entered stealth and was trying to stop my healer from getting into stealth here. So you can see here he was behind the tower, he goes into stealth and is moving across this way. I notice it, so I turn around and try to get lucky here, and I ended up catching him with the leap and a Blade Storm. And my druid over here was able to re-stealth behind the line here. So here we're in a really good spot. As soon as Hot and Spicy goes in for the bash clone on the enemy druid, I go ahead and stun the monk at the same time so that they can't help each other. They're both CC'd. And this is a good opportunity for us to, you know, get some big damage going. So I hit a Warbreaker, I throw down the Kyrian Spear, but the monk disarms me on it, so that's a good play by him. So just waiting on this disarm. And whenever you guys are too close to each other, like, we definitely don't want to play on top of each other, me and my druid, for the fear of getting, you know, double leg swept. So, which is coming up in 5 seconds. You can see the add-on the bottom of my screen here. he has 5 more seconds until he has leg sweep available, so I move away instead of, towards my healer
Cyclone.
to keep us separated.
Ground destroyed and fire.
Here's his big go again. I kind of freak out a little bit, but at least I'm sitting in defensive stance here. Fuck, here's the damage right here. I go ahead and hit the HP trinket to increase my life. I can stun him in 1 As soon as my stun comes off cooldown, I stun here and try to pressure. The enemy druid was casting Cyclone on me, so he forced me to hit my spell reflect, and then he took it off with another ability before he tried to cast another Cyclone from behind the pillar. So right now he's casting Cyclone from the pillar. I need to line of sight it and get back on this monk as soon as possible, so I use my heroic leap to get back behind the line of sight and gap close on the monk at the same time and avoid that Cyclone. And here we turn the tables on them. Hot and Spicy goes in for a roar Cyclone on the enemy druid, and he was able to get it off before the monk put him in an incapacitate. I got damage here now. So this is kind of why you can play the talent that reduces the cooldown on your Warbreaker instead of Dreadnought, so that you can have your Warbreaker up sooner so it doesn't line up with the enemy's disarm, which I probably should have played in this matchup. But anyway, we have really good pressure here. The enemy healer is still sitting in crowd control. I'm disarmed, but I'm just going to try and stay close to this monk so that we can secure the kill as soon as my disarm is over. So that's when we get a nice vortex on the ground there so that the monk can't kite away from me. Use Berserker Rage here to break the incapacitate.
Osad's vortex.
I get a hard stun here and switch to Druid to get a fear, even though it's half duration because he's still on DR from the previous Cyclone, but 3 seconds is long enough to secure the kill here. You know, he's feared, so he can't do anything. He's stunned, he can't do anything, and all I gotta do is finish it up right here. Get the kill right here. He's dead. And that's pretty much the game. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Like the video, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you guys on another one. Peace.